Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Footy Banter and Insights. Today we'll be doing our Game Week 13 review in the EPL, and we'll be touching upon some of the other fixtures across top European leagues. Just give us a minute while we share our screens. Mine is the screen visible to you?
You're visible. Yeah, now you're visible. Am I
Is
visible to you?
Yes, is the screen visible?
Yeah, screen is also. Like, I don't know if you've shared the screen.
I've
The
shared the
shared
screen.
screen is not visible.
Acha, 1 second.
Maybe I think we may need like Varun to accept the screen and stuff. So let's just go ahead without it.
Acha. Okay, I think in that case, I can just go through the results of the weekend and post that we can just discuss some of the games that we would want to have some discussion on. So the weekend started with Brentford beating Burnley 3-1 at home, which was a good results for them at home. Sunderland had a great comeback win against Bournemouth, again 3-2 at home. City with a last minute winner, a beautiful Phil Foden finish, which gave them a 3-2 win against Leeds United. And I think it kind of kept the title race open for now. Newcastle absolutely killed Everton. They were 4-0 up at one point of time. And then a beautiful Dewsbury Hall goal kind of got them, let's say, let's say a goal just for the namesake. Fulham were 2-0 up against Tottenham uh, in the first 6 minutes, and then they held on for the win away from home. United with one of the results of the season so far, because beating Crystal Palace at home is not easy at all. Uh, I think we all watched this game, so we can have a bit of discussion here. Liverpool with a great away win against West Ham. 2-0 with Isak scoring his first Premier League goal for Liverpool. Villa with a very gritty 1-0 win versus Wolves at home. They have, I think, now won 6 of the last 7 matches. And we had a great away win for Brighton at Nottingham Forest. And then the standout fixture of the weekend was Chelsea at home to Arsenal, wherein despite going a man down, Chelsea ended up getting a draw. So, firstly, Manan, do you want to share any thoughts? Or actually, we can go game by game. Uh, did you happen to catch the City's Leeds game?
No, so I was just following the scores online. I didn't happen to see the games. But like what I noticed was a lot of the games were decided by late goals this weekend. Like a lot of them were drawing or drawish until like 80 odd minutes, and then the City game, the Sunderland game, both of them were sort of decided by late goals going on simultaneously. And I was reading about the game later and noticed that Haaland did not play so well, and maybe that's why City was struggling. They are a very sort of Haaland-centric team right now, and Foden came up big in the injury time to rescue them. What do you think about this? Did you manage to see it?
The Saturday games was not that like I didn't see them properly. Like I did follow them. So if I actually go to the City Leeds game, uh, Foden actually scored literally with the first, I think, chance. Right, he scored in the first minute, and then
Mm-hmm.
I saw his goal towards the end when he actually like that was live when I saw that.
Hmm.
And in the middle I was kind of shifting between different contents, But I think if I look at the stats, especially, I think City on paper dominated, right? Like 25 shots overall, 8 on target. They had literally 60% plus possession as they normally do. And I think they were just pegged back by Leeds, who had two shots on target and they scored from both. And I think it was very important for City to get the win because if they wouldn't have been able to do that, I think already we see Arsenal being so strong that it would be very difficult for anyone to kind of even compete with them going forward. So I think from a setup perspective, it was quite good. And I think good to see Foden stepping up. I think that is something which is very important for City overall. He was the Premier League Player of the Year 2 seasons back, had a very bad time with injuries and loss of form last year. And I think to come back again slowly but surely, I think that is very important for City.
So, like, I sort of feel the title race, like, after the weekend game, especially, I feel that, we cannot really say, irrespective of whether City would have drawn or won, that the league is Arsenal's to lose. Because, again, like a team like Arsenal, if they are unable to break a 10-man Chelsea, a team that has been playing with 10 men for more than one half, then it sort of gives me doubts about their creativity and makes me understand that if a team is able to match their physicality like Chelsea was even with 10 men, because Chelsea again is a big and strong team, then they will have issues in scoring goals. And slowly but surely, other teams will realize this and they will try to match up with Arsenal in terms of physicality. And there is a chance that they will likely drop more points.
I think we can like have a bigger discussion on that when we discuss their game week as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
we can just segue into it right now, no?
so if we
Now that
segue into
everyone.
it, there are too many talking points. Like I think, like I think, as a Chelsea fan, this was possibly one of the best weeks aside from the Club World Cup for
Mhm,
sure.
mhm,
And it began last week with a great 2-0 win away at Burnley. It
mhm,
continued midweek with, I think, one of the best Champions League performances that we've had. We've traditionally always had a good game against Barca, but this
mhm,
is the first time we dominated Barca like anything. And honestly, the manager, Maresca, deserves a lot of credit because he got his tactics spot on. Even in this game, I think the way he set up the team was perfect. Uh, Arsenal, to be very honest, were unlucky that both their first choice central defenders weren't playing. Gabriel as well as Saliba weren't in the squad. And Chelsea started the better of the two teams. With 11 men, they had three very good chances. Uh, we would have definitely wished for those chances to drop to either Estevao or João Pedro, and it did, but somehow both of them did not make it count at all. Estevao, I think he was a bit rattled by Calafiore's physicality and Hincapi's as well. And João Pedro, I think he just refused to shoot at goal because there were two clear-cut chances wherein if he would have just tried to hit the target, I think it would have been good for Chelsea. But both the times, I think he took a long time to even like either pass or get his shot off, and I
yeah.
think that kind of there was a beautiful tackle from Declan Rice in one of them. There was good cover from the Arsenal defense, but yeah, 11 on 11, Chelsea were really good. Uh, Moses Caicedo with a direct red, well deserved red, absolutely no question about it. uh, while we were watching it live, it was like I was surprised that why the referee was taking such a long time because it was very clear.
Mm,
Right? Coincidentally, though, the same tackle, in fact, a worse version of the tackle happened 2 weeks back or 3 weeks back when Chelsea had visited Spurs. At that time, Bentancur had a very bad challenge on Reece James, and it was actually quite worse than this one in the same manner. And that time it just resulted in a yellow, even after VAR check. So I think that is the only inconsistency which I feel is there, because in one instance you are having a yellow upgraded to a red, and in the other instance you are not having any action whatsoever despite the VAR check being done. So I
Hmm.
think that is the only matter of contention. Otherwise, like from a neutral perspective and even a Chelsea fan perspective, it was 100% red. There's no question about it. Now at
Yeah,
that,
I
please go on.
no, no, I was just going to say we discussed about this last weekend also, that there is inconsistency in refereeing,
Yeah.
and that is the big challenge and problem of decisions, because, like, of course there will be some kind of subjectivity among referees, like person to person, var to var, but the variance in the decisions is like opposite poles, and we are seeing it on a week to week basis. So that needs to somehow be solved. And if taking VAR away is the solution, where having VAR is maybe making referees sort of depend on VAR and technology and not make decisions, like not make instinctive decisions, then maybe taking away VAR is going to be a better option than having it.
Yeah, I have my, like, I have a differing opinion here, because I feel ki in football, compared to other sports, there is a lot of subjectivity in terms of decisions, and many times referees are very swayed by managers, teams, the audience, in the sense ki the people who are visiting the stadium, and a lot of other factors around it. If you see the old United teams, like I'm sure you would have seen a reel wherein literally five of the United stalwarts, Keane, Scholes, Giggs, they are literally attacking a referee. They are putting their hands on the referee, and the referee is not taking any action. And at that juncture, there was a stat wherein for about 9 years, there was not a home penalty conceded by United at Old Trafford. So I think from those standpoints, it is definitely very subjective. And if you see the results since VAR, now you have actually, if you look at Opta and if you look at Squawka, they actually present stats what the table would have been with and without VAR. And there's a remarkable difference in those 2 points, or let's say two uh, different tables, right? So I'm definitely sure that VAR, or adapted VAR, has to be part of it. Technology has to be used, and it has to be enabling the referees to make the right call. The problem is that if you make a call, like for instance, let's say the tackle in this game, if everyone agrees that yes, it is a red card, then a similar tackle in another game also needs to be. So there should be guidelines that a dangerous play with a player even accidentally, let's say, putting his foot towards someone's shins, qualifies as dangerous play and physical harm, and that should result in an automatic red with a 3 match ban. Now it cannot be left
So there
before.
are guidelines. Now, you mean there are guidelines, like there are various kinds of guidelines. I think it is just like what I understand, when technology comes in, and when technology is like VAR, where it is not really a decision making technology. Like the technology is not making the decision. They are just sort of replaying the video to another human being. Like if you compare it to various other sports like cricket or badminton or tennis, we, the technology is essentially making the decision for like before decisions, let's say, or like if the ball is in the line or out of the line, or the shuttle is falling in the line or outside the line, right? So when, and like even in football, when you have the goal line clearances to check whether they are a goal or not, there the technology is making the decision. And I think when technology is making the decision, then it helps. But if it's just that, okay, one more person is involved, and that's a sort of one subjectivity plus another subjectivity, so overall the quality of decisions will reduce, where like one is subjective, the other is subjective, and the cumulative is more subjective that way. Like, or I would say that take out this law that it has to be a clear and obvious error. Then if it is going to VAR, then VAR makes the decision. Then you take it away from the main referee.
I think I
The
agree
main
with both
referee is
the
just
points.
there to sort of, yeah,
No, the
like
on I agree.
orchestrate the play, you know?
Yes, I agree with both the points. I think when you have a technology which is stable enough to make a decision on its own, I think that is the best case scenario.
Mhm.
There was a point during the World Cup wherein I think one of the goals that Japan scored, the ball seemed 100% out of the field. But when the
Mhm.
technology was zoomed in, it showed that maybe a fraction of the ball was still showing inside based on the curvature of the ball outside the, let's say, the red zone. And like, when the technology makes a decision, no one can question it, right? Then either the
Yeah.
technology has an issue with it, which needs to be again taken to the, let's say, ground zero and worked on, or you have to trust it and you have to accept whatever comes your way. And I also agree that the on-field referee has to be more of an orchestrator and someone who is trying to help continue the game in its flow without the game being out of hand. But for any important decision, it should definitely be like they should. It's not necessary that you have to stop the game and take 5 minutes to see the video for both the, like, the on-field referee and the off-field referee. The off-field referee is viewing every incident closely, and they should have the right to come and discuss with the referee. Ki, yeah, there is an incident which is happening which you need to bring in point. It's as simple as that. So I completely agree with both the points that you're making. But in this case, I think let's we've taken a huge detour away from the game. So post that,
Yeah.
you see halftime, and then both the managers again reset their teams, and then with the first corner, surprisingly, Chelsea score a corner against Arsenal, who are the best at both attacking and defending set pieces. And then there was another incident wherein Hinkapi does a elbow on Chaloba, and there's a clear mark on Chaloba, and it wasn't, let's say, treated by any action. And then you have such incidents again. So literally, there were six yellow cards for Arsenal team, and they were playing very, like, they were literally on the line for most of it. And then Saka had a good chance wherein he created a great cross from his side, and Merino got in at the right time to score. And post that again, I think it was Chelsea dominating, and there were just two pieces of brilliance. I think two great stops by Sanchez to deny Arsenal. In one of the stops, Gyökeres actually ended up kind of hurting him badly.
Mhm.
And towards the end, there was a gilt-edged chance wherein Timber was in the box and Gyökeres was behind him. And unfortunately, Timber headed wide, wherein Gyökeres, if he would have let the ball go, Gyökeres would have had an open goal to kind of score. So from an overall perspective, I think it was a proper London derby. It reminded me of London derbies back in the day because it was extremely physical. It was
Mhm.
very intense, and for a large portion of the game, it wasn't quality football. And I think few things which stood out was one. Like Reece James was a man possessed. He played midfield, he played on the right, he played in the center, and he literally, like, there were 300 million pound players in midfield yesterday, and he was the man of the match by far. So it was like, I think, one of the best performances that you have seen by him for sure. And on the other side, I think Arsenal, with the fact that they didn't have their first choice centre back pairing, and with the fact that they set up this game to not lose, I think they did what they had to do. And they kind of got 1 point away from the bridge, which is a great point for them, considering the overall scheme of things.
So, UV, I want to ask you, like, I think after a 3 year period, finally Wesley Fofana has been fit for a bit, and he is now like one of the undisputed centre backs at Chelsea.
He's
Has
just
having
he's just come. Literally, like, this was his third start in a month, and he's
Yeah,
literally just come back. Like it's very less, yeah, very small time frame.
yeah. But do you think like having him has created a positive impact in the defense? Because when he was at Leicester before coming to Chelsea, he was incredible. And then in his last season at Leicester, he had an injury, and then he's been injured constantly since he's come to Chelsea, right?
So on that subject, it's a very interesting point. Um, if you ask me, Wesley Fofana along with Levi Colwill is a great centre back partnership because Colwill is left footed and he has great composure on the ball and he has the ability to find line breaking passes. And Fofana is someone who is extremely aggressive. He likes to go chasing the ball. He can cover the entire right side and he can also play well with his feet. So a combination of these two is possibly the best centre back pairing that Chelsea has. Unfortunately, as you mentioned, Fofana has perpetually been injured over the last 3 years. He's got very serious, like he's got two back-to-back ACL, so it's been extremely difficult for him. And Colville this year got an ACL as well. So I think unfortunately it's going to take time to see that pairing again, and it's going to take time to see that pairing in full flow as well. But big credit to Chaloba. I think everyone keeps discounting him. And every season there are rumors linking him away from the club that the club want to sell him, cash in on him being an academy product. But he has been one of the most reliable, let's say, Chelsea stalwarts over the last few years. Wherever there's a need, he really steps up. And the combination of Chaloba along with Fofana has been well. So they have started 3 games together and they've conceded just one goal, which was a goal yesterday. Otherwise, they've got two other clean sheets. So it's a good platform to build on, but too early, I would say, because like
Mhm.
Fofana, Lavia, James, they have a very bad history with injuries. James as well, he's being managed very well by Maresca, wherein he's playing literally
Excuse me.
very controlled minutes. So yesterday was one of the
Mhm.
few games when he finished the entire game. Otherwise,
Mhm.
usually he's one of the people who's either subbed on or subbed off. And I think in the midweek game as well, I don't think he'll feature now.
Yeah, I think Enzo Maresca has surprised me as a manager. Like, I did not expect him to be sort of taking to a big job so well. He won the championship with Leicester City, but when Chelsea appointed him, I was a little underwhelmed. That okay, maybe this is not the right manager for a club like Chelsea. Like he's won the championship and everything, but I mean, championship is a very different ball game to like playing in the Premier League, managing a team like Chelsea with the scale of fans, the expectations. But he has been like pleasantly surprising in not just in terms of tactics, but in terms of man management, in terms of media management. Like sort of he's sort of been spot on with everything. You know, like results have been good. They qualified for the Champions League. They won the Club World Cup, and now they are doing well again. And the best part that I actually not the best, but another sort of positive aspect is that he works with the players he gets. It's not like okay, he's asking for certain players. Like at Chelsea, it's a very clear difference now, like defined sort of roles where the sporting directors, the two of them will buy players, and the manager has to make it work. And he's done really well to adapt to it and to sort of make it work on the field with results. So just a shout out to Enzo Maresca.
No, no, completely agree. And I'll give you a little preface of it. So, as Chelsea fans, we've seen our fair share of heartbreak, right? Uh, Mourinho came in, made us extremely competitive. He was sacked when there was a small dip in form. Like that small dip in form right now is nothing. Like he had 3 games which he did not win. He was sacked. Then you had the famous 2009 final against Manu, wherein Terry slipped. And then you have Ancelotti coming in. Ancelotti again. winning the double, winning back-to-back trophies, and then he's sacked again because we are not able to define the kind of expectations that we had from the club at that point of time. Then Conte comes in. Conte wins the title in his first season. Again, flares up, leaves. Mourinho's second serving came just before that. And then finally, Tuchel came in. And when Tuchel came in, he kind of settled everything at the club. And then the Ukraine war happened, and then Abramovich was sanctioned. And then again, it was back to square one. Now, there are a lot of things which, as Chelsea fans, I would say we have evolved and matured even as fans to kind of trust the club a little more now. So I'll give you specific examples. One example is Cucurella under Tuchel and under, let's say, Lampard was
Lampard.
hopeless. He was hopeless because the style of play and the way Cucurella plays, plus his personal life was in shambles at that point of time. So it wasn't really the right fit. And similarly, when Maresca was appointed, the choices that we had. So if you look at the links which were there with Chelsea, there was Luis Enrique, there was Zidane, there was Allegri, and from that we went to a two-man shortlist of Kieran McKenna and Enzo Maresca. And I was like, yeah, we are looking at championship and relegated managers as our base right now, and it is absolutely ridiculous. And when he was appointed, again, that's when the background check starts. That's when you start looking up a lot of videos, a lot of reviews, a lot of fan articles. So I spent maybe a week or so looking at a lot of Leicester videos, looking at a lot of Leicester fan pages, and a lot of them said that he's a one-trick pony, that he will only play in a certain way, and it was exactly what the feedback was for Amorim. He
Mhm.
decides a system and he's a system manager and everyone has to fit in the system. And when you saw him play in the first few games, it was like, yeah, it's not going to work at Chelsea. But then the way he kind of went about things in a very, very, let's say, so last season, if you remember, we had one of the largest squads in the league. He
Hmm.
essentially got made very big decisions as a very young manager, right? The choice of leaving Sterling out completely, Chilwell out completely. These are guys together who are on 600K a week, and the club is trusting him to make those decisions, and that is also immense. That we've never seen, uh, let's say, a board and an owner trusting the manager so much to leave two senior professionals out, and these are the two people who've actually won the most at the club. And then if you look at
But
the
don't you think it's maybe a club decision and not a manager decision?
no,
Like the
it
club
is
has
definitely
decided that okay.
no, so it is definitely a manager decision because in all the interviews, he was very adamant that like Sterling is a great player, but Sterling is not a player who offers him what he wants in his lineup. And he has been very clear since the very beginning. It wasn't something which was, let's say, that is where I think the cohesion between the club as well as the manager was really good. And he ended up actually making two different teams, one for the Premier League, one for the Conference League. Now, at the start of last season, as Chelsea fans, honestly, my hopes was if we can finish in the top 10, and if let's say we can go to the farther stages of the Conference League, I think I would be happy. We firstly defeated Forest to win the, let's say, the right to play in the Champions League this season, which is by finishing fourth, and won the Conference League, which was again a great final, and then won the Club World Cup, which was extremely unexpected. And I, I think this was by far the highest of whatever he could achieve last season, right? And then this
Hmm.
season, we all felt, कि यार आज literally this Chelsea squad right now, they've had 2 weeks break because the Club World Cup ended so late. They were the champions, and then they had to start their Premier League season almost immediately after 2.5 weeks. So there was a very big possibility that Chelsea will struggle for sure, and we could see that Colville got injured in the first training session, which is an ACL. We've had Palmer out of 13 games, 11 games he has not participated in. We've had like Lavia is perpetually injured, but we've had cases wherein Delap was out for 2 months. Uh, so essentially, with all the injuries, with all the suspensions, and Chelsea have had 7 red cards this season already, 4 in the Premier League. Somehow he has still managed to kind of get the best out of his players. And like you mentioned, right, I completely agree with your point. And like I'll be the first one to say that he is someone who is improving the players, not just as players, but in the system that he wants to play. So, for instance, let's say if Arteta took 5.5, 6 years to get to where they are right now, he has been able to, like, let's say, bridge that gap in terms of time as well. So, if you see Cucurella, I think he's one of the most consistent players. Like, right now, if you look at it, I am the first one who says that Arsenal have the best squad in Europe right now, by far. But still, despite having that best squad, if out of 11 players there at the club, I would say I would not trade 7 of those first team players at Chelsea for any other player in the world. Like it is that well refined now. Like I would not trade a Caicedo and Enzo partnership in the middle for anyone. I would not trade an Esteba or a Palmer for anyone. I would not trade Cucurella and Reece James for anyone. So it is essentially how he has managed to get all these cogs to fit into a system. And then, like even for Neto for that matter, Neto has been so good throughout. Like he was perpetually injured as well at Wolves. Like we all saw it. We were going through his stats that he has never played more than X number of minutes in a league season. And now practically every week he is a starter. So I think these are the small nuances wherein it's big credit to Maresca for sure. And I would say it'll still take him 1 year more to kind of get everything in order. But I think this is a very good base that there is there at the club. And the fact is that Chelsea have the youngest squad in the Premier League. And if they can keep these guys together for another couple of years, then they can definitely genuinely mount a title challenge.
Yui, I couldn't hear the last part. Like
I'm
you
saying,
said
ki,
that
I think,
they can keep all
yeah,
these
so
guys together.
Chelsea have the youngest squad in the Premier League. They have Kenda coming in next season. They have Satpaev coming in the season after that. They literally could have, let's say, in 2 seasons, the ability to have, like, they should be contenders for the title, like a proper contender.
Hmm. So I wanted to, I now like based on this discussion that we've had, I would like to maybe not today, but at another point on another recording, discuss about the ownership structure or the ownership model of Abramovich and Clear Lake Capital, the differences, and which one do you think is sort of more, uh, let's say, repetitive, easily repeatable as a successful model? Like, I think that's an interesting discussion we should
So
have later.
that's a very interesting discussion, and I think it in like it'll let's say it'll focus on some things which are even outside of football. So I think it'll
Mhm.
be a good discussion for sure.
Yeah. So let's sort of
Park,
jot it
park the
down
bus
for
for
one
now.
of the, yeah, next international break.
Sure. I think that's gonna take a long time. But yeah,
But yeah, nice, nice. Well, let's move on to the next game. Liverpool, maybe.
we can discuss the Liverpool game. I think
Yeah.
did you happen to catch that game?
So I saw the last 30 odd minutes. I didn't see the first few minutes. I logged in after you were texting on a group congratulating Aftani that okay, someone has scored a goal and stuff. So then I logged in after that, and so again, I didn't happen to catch the first 60 odd minutes, let's say. And in the time that I saw, it was mostly one-way traffic where West Ham were like controlling the game, maybe. But uh, there were no real clear sort of, you know, threats to Liverpool, and Liverpool were sitting sort of back and defending and trying to counter. Uh, interestingly, I heard on the commentary that the commentators also said that after Liverpool scored the first goal, they've just sat back and tried to preserve that lead, which I think is fair and not a criticism of a team like Liverpool, where in the position they are in right now, because the win gives them so much more than playing well and not winning. So I think it was important for the manager and the team to take up that kind of a strategy where they would just preserve the lead and try to get a win. And it is something also that Sir Alex used to do. I remember when that season where we had started brilliantly with like Welbeck and all these young guys coming in, we beat Arsenal 8-2, and we were sort of on a roll. And then we played City and we lost 6-1 with the famous Balotelli celebration. So immediately in the next game, what Sir Alex did was he shut shop. He's like he played sort of in a very very like I will not call it defensive, but sort of very structured, no flexibility, sort of very rigid kind of a formation where the important thing is to not lose and try to nick it with a goal. And then he did that for the next few games just so that the confidence can come back into the team. Like the team can feel like themselves again. So I think what Slot did was interesting and very much required. Big win for Liverpool, important for the striker, like their big money striker, to get off the mark. Salah benched. That was again like a manager showing that he has the, for a lack of word, better word, balls to sort of take that kind of a decision, benching the most important, highest earning player, best player, everything. So interesting decisions from start to end by the manager and a very good result.
Yeah, completely echo your thoughts here. I think it was very important for Liverpool to, let's say, get the win, irrespective of anything else. And honestly, I saw majority of the game, and West Ham did create a few chances. Like they could have scored more than Liverpool as well. And I think it was just maybe not uh, converting those chances into goals, and in certain cases not being able to, like, their final third play kind of let them down a little bit. But I think it was a very much important win for Liverpool, and like you said, I think great fortitude by Slot to kind of just get the win anyhow, set up the team in a manner which is going to ensure that they don't concede, because they've been conceding goals like crazy in the last few weeks. And Isak with the first goal was very important for him. I think he can use this as a platform now in the coming weeks. Salah getting a full game's rest is very important as well, because then now he's got another 2 games this week, right? So it'll be interesting. So yeah, I think Liverpool is definitely not going to go away that easily, but it'll be good to see how they use this adversity, and we'll get to know more about the players in the coming weeks.
Mhm.
Shall we talk about the game of the week for you?
Yeah, I have a fixed game of the week every week. Uh, but uh, but yeah, no, it again like I think it's a game where the manager sort of comes out trumps. Mm, like you see how fickle the media is, where like 10 days back United were on the up, like in the top four. Conversation was, maybe 20 days back conversation was about challenging for the title, and then like 10 days back it was like top four and stuff, and then they lose one game and conversation is again about how the manager is bad, he should be sacked and stuff. So it was again an important victory for the club to sort of do away with the media circus for another 4 days. We have a midweek game, so we don't know what's going to happen. First midweek game for United in 3-4 months after we lost to Grimsby in the Carabao Cup. And my first half was very poor, like really, really poor. Uh, like, I mean, Palace had a few chances. They deserved to be in the lead at the end of the first half. The goal, I don't think they deserved to be in the lead via the route that they had, where like the penalty was really soft, really, really soft in my books. And like also, I mean, the whole retaking of the penalty again, like not because it's against United, but I think there was a similar incident in the Champions League last year between Atletico and Real. I don't see why the the penalty taker should get two bites at the cherry if he's hit the ball twice. Like, it is already really difficult for the goalkeeper or the defending team, and if an attacker is hitting the ball twice, that is his mistake, and then he should not be getting another opportunity to take the penalty again. It's like you making a foul and then you getting a chance to get back, go again. Like the foul doesn't matter anymore. So again, always I think the goal was not really the penalty was not. It was very soft, and the penalty should not have stood also like what he took. But again, those are the rules. Overall, the first half, Palace deserved to go in a goal ahead. The second half, they tired small squad, Europa League game midweek on Thursday night, playing Sunday afternoon. Players get tired. United took advantage of that. United upped the intensity themselves. Like Bruno was sort of playing more as a fulcrum where he was just controlling the proceedings. Two really good goals. I think like Xerxes goal, if you see the angle is so acute, and the way he managed to control the ball and take a hit, like it was not like a random wide swipe. He actually meant to hit it that way, where the ball is curling away from the goalkeeper and then curling into the goal. So really, really good goal. And again, the second goal with Bruno and Mount sort of working a free kick and Mount scoring the goal. So after that, it was all United in the second half. So very, very good win. I love the fact, like, I love how honest Amarim is. Like in his post-match press con, he's like, "We are stealing set piece ideas and tactics from other teams." It's really interesting, but yeah, good win. Can't hear you, UV.
Sorry, I was saying this was a match that we watched fully.
Mm-hmm.
First half, I think Palace dominated, and
Mm-hmm.
they, if they had a, like a, I would say, I can definitely remember three chances where they should have scored.
True.
Mateta, then Wharton played some brilliant
Wharton. Yeah.
chances. Like, it was really, well, I think they should have easily been 3-0 up at halftime. So it was more a case of Palace not doing well in the first half rather than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
True.
with the penalty, we actually checked the rule during halftime. So after the Aguero controversy, the rule was established that if, let's say, you are having a double touch during a regular game, then you get another bite at the cherry if the goal goes in. If it doesn't go in, then it's an indirect free kick. And if, let's say, it's a penalty shootout, then there's no second chance. So these were the rules which were established. So essentially, they were following the law.
Yeah.
Now, whether the law makes sense or no, that's an entirely different topic. So that can be definitely debatable. There doesn't need to be any other question on that. And second half, I think United were much, much better than Palace. And I think we saw it coming. The way Palace did not take their chances, it was very clear that United will get a few chances. But I think it was more a case of Henderson being blinded by the sun for most of it. because the two goals that he conceded, especially the first one, the ball went very close to him and he did not react in time. And the second one, again, he was trying to set up the wall, and fair play to United for taking the, let's say, the free kick very quickly. In fact, I saw a reel wherein Mount says that Bruno actually took it much more quicker than him also expecting it. So it was like he reacted rather than, let's say, planned it. So it was more very instinctive from Mount, and it turned out to be a great goal for sure. But I think the fact that United are in that zone wherein they are losing 1-0 at home to Everton with 80 minutes being up by a man, and then going away to Palace and then winning 2-1 against a team which I would say very few teams in the country have actually gotten the better of Palace at their home ground. So it's like a very Dr. Jekyll and the Mr. Hyde approach, right? It's like a very uh, crazy way of putting it. So you never know what you're going to get with United. You may get fireworks or you may get an absolute nightmare.
So, I did not watch the Everton game. It was midweek and late night, and normally such games are not possible for me to see. Uh, just on watching the highlights, like forget the media, even Ruben Amorim was so critical about the team, and like the whole mood around the club, like inside the club and around the club, was so downcast that the performance has been so bad. But like there were three clear-cut Xerxes chances in like last 30 odd minutes where he should have scored all three. So, and there were a couple of other chances also. Like none of them were high, you know, uh, like very high XG, but they were like something that the player should be scoring. Like so, and I think we had discussed it last podcast that I was not so sort of downcast about that performance as such, but definitely my concern with United is that performances are not as good as the results. Like in the first three games, we were performing, at least in my books, we were performing better than what we are performing now, where we were trying to control the game, keeping the ball on the floor a lot more. And then again, like after that was not leading to results, but like our XG was really high. Our XG conceded was really low. We were not letting opponents have very a lot of good chances. Opponents were scoring on that one odd chance that they were getting. So they were being very clinical. But because the results were so poor, the manager shifted tactics where he sort of more went more sort of route one long ball, trying to get results. And the performances have sort of worsened now. My concern is that even after the results being okay in the past, what, 7, 8 game weeks, 6 game weeks maybe, the performances haven't been better. Like if I see the game against Sunderland, which was the start of the winning streak, and then I see the performance this weekend against Crystal Palace. The result was really great against Crystal Palace. The second half was good, but overall the performance has not become better, and that is where my concern lies. Like I would prefer that we mesh better as a team, that I can see more patterns of play happening. I can see like the team is more or less stable other than one or two positions, like the right wing back is shifting a bit, left wing back is shifting a bit, and the center forward is shifting a bit because of injuries. But otherwise, like the back three and the central midfielders and like one of the two number tens has been six out of the and the keepers. So 7 out of the 11 positions have been very stable. So it should lead to more patterns of play happening. That is not what I'm seeing, and that is what is a little concerning for me.
Any, like, there were a lot of rumors coming around regarding Sesko also suffering from an ACL, right?
Mhm. No, it's not an ACL. It's like a smallish injury which will like see him out for a couple of more weeks, but he should
Acha.
be back soon. Yeah, he should be back before the end of December.
That is really good because
Yeah.
I don't know, there were some rumors going on wherein his injury got delayed and people were mentioning ACL. So I was like, okay, what happened there?
No, no. Like, so I'm basing this off Amorim's pre-match press conference
Hmm.
where he mentioned that okay, Sesko is a little bit more away, but he should be back soon, and Cunha should be back for the midweek game.
That'll be
So
good.
the problem for United is going to be when AFCON starts and Mbomo and Ahmad are both going to be away for a bit, let's say 4 to 6 weeks, and like they have been the key attacking cogs for the team, and I don't see any other replacement for these two players in the team. Like Mazraoui goes, okay, there are other players who can fill into what he does, but there are no other left-footed senior first-team players capable of playing as the right number 10 and the right wing back, and that is a little bit concerning. That we have this prospect called Shea Lacey, a youth team player who has been tearing up the youth ranks since he was inducted. So Amorim says that our youth team will give us the players to replace them. Let's see. There's also this guy called Bendito Mantato. I think I've spoken about both of these guys during our academy series when we used to do that. So, so let's see how that goes.
I would still say Casemiro is on 350K a week, and Bruno, I think, is similar. If you guys get rid of both of them and just sign Elliot Anderson and Wharton, I think that is a winning midfield in the Premier League because they offer whatever Amorim wants perfectly. Or Bruno moves into a different position. That Wharton plus Elliot Anderson combination can really help United. The other very interesting comment which I came across this week was that one of the pundits or one of the journalists they had mentioned that if Mainu was a regular at Palace, they would have no problem spending 80 million on him, whereas they are
Yeah.
not giving him the chances that they should be giving him when he's an academy player. And I think that is again a very apt and interesting quote because when you have such a big talent on your hands, why don't you use him much more and get him that platform right now?
So I think we had discussed it maybe 2 or 3 weeks back when you had asked me who out of Anderson, Baleba, and Wharton should be the one guy that United signs, and my take was Wharton because I think he complements Mainu really well, and for me that would be the midfield that I would want to happen. So from the chatter that I'm reading about, United are not going to extend Casemiro in any case. Even though he's been really good this season, the idea is to let him go and not extend him. So that salary is going to be off our books. And like, I don't think Bruno's going to play number 8 next season. So I see at least one of Wharton and Anderson or Baleba, either one of them to come in for sure. Again, I would prefer Wharton because I think Mainu and Wharton complement each other really, really well. So I think Mainu and Wharton coming in, Bruno being there as like, a number 10 or a backup number 8, that kind of a profile is okay if he's being sold. I would hate it, but I would understand it because I expect us to get 80 to 100 million from Saudi for him. So I agree with that. But and I think it's going to happen where like Casemiro is going to go and one of these three is going to come in for sure.
Cool. Any other interesting games that were there which you would want to talk about?
Not really, yeah. So, I mean, because I'm sure there were probably more interesting games, I just didn't happen to see them. So, I don't think I'll have anything interesting to add about them.
Sure. If I just do a little bit of a so in La Liga right now we have four teams separated by 4 points.
Yeah.
Uh, Barca are actually top with Madrid 1 point behind, Atletico 2, and Villarreal 3 points. So their top four is like insanely competitive right now. And it's really nice to see Villarreal up there, but I don't know how long it'll last, right? So
Hmm. Hey, Villarreal can easily be there because, again, the fourth position or the fourth team in La Liga is always uh, like a roulette
Bilbao.
kind of a thing where one team does well one season, the other team does well the other season. For a couple of seasons, Sevilla was really good and they were consistently being the fourth team, but now they've also regressed. So even though Villarreal might regress away from the title race, like it's very easy for them to keep a certain level of performance enough to be number four.
And over in Italy, again, the top four teams are actually separated by a single point. We have Milan and Napoli at 28, and we have Inter and AS Roma at 27. I think this is definitely the closest across the top five leagues for sure.
Italy is always an exciting uh, sort of championship contest. Other than last year, where it was sort of one way throughout, but other than that, Italy is always interesting because, I mean, imagine Conte. There's talk of Conte leaving Napoli and they are top of the table. Like there's talk that there's crisis at the club and things are not working well. Chemistry is not there. Dressing room issues, owner manager issues, all of these things, and they're still top of the table.
In Germany, Bayern are ruling the roost. 34 points from a plausible 36. But after that, 2 to 5 are separated by 3 points. So again, Leipzig, Dortmund, Hoffenheim, Leverkusen, they've all like gathered momentum now.
Hmm.
And please go. You're saying something?
Nee, I was just saying that Leverkusen, after the disastrous start that they had, just sort of coming back into the mix,
Yeah,
also
yeah.
shows. I think like the this is what sort of EPL was maybe 7 8 years back, where irrespective of anything, the top teams would always come back to you know having clear distance between them and the other teams. Whereas now, I think EPL is a lot more competitive.
True. And surprisingly, over in France, we have a new leader. Any guesses who it is?
Is it Marseille,
No,
Monaco?
nope. Not even in the top five.
Maybe like Lens or something.
Yeah, Lens are actually top,
Yeah.
uh, leading PSG by a point, who are leading Marseille by a point. So the top three
Hmm.
are separated by 2 points. And in fact, Marseille had a chance of being number one, but they also ended up drawing their game. So it's very, very interesting over in France as well. It's not like a easy league out there.
I think PSG is going to create distance between them and the others eventually. I think like Chelsea's PSG are also suffering from the Club World Cup, and they've also had a lot of injuries. If you see their team that started uh, the last match, like the forward was someone I had not heard of ever.
Yeah, yeah. It was his
The
first
center forward,
start. Yeah.
yeah, and the right back was a midfielder. So and like and a sort of that really wonder kid midfielder, So he was playing right
Emery.
back.
Warren Zaire Emery.
Yeah.
Cool. So interesting. across the bigger European leagues.
Yeah.
And we also have a top of the table clash in Turkey today,
Okay.
wherein Galatasaray are leading Fenerbahce 1-0 at the moment through a Leroy Sané goal.
Wow. Galatasaray, Osimhen is in Gala, no?
Yeah, Osimhen
Yeah.
is in Gala, and Gala and Fenerbahce before this game were separated by a point.
Okay.
But I think Galatasaray, if they win, they can like kind of come ahead.
So I feel like a team like Gala can be really competitive in the Champions League if only the local talent was good enough.
Hmm.
Like since 2000 or like mid 2000s, I remember the game when Wayne Rooney debuted for United. It was
Hat
against Fenerbahce and he scored a hat trick. Even that Fenerbahce team had a few really good European sort of, let's say, mainland European names. There was this one Dutch forward called Hoydong and like a few others. So they always get these really like outcast type of uh, big name players from Europe and who do well for them. But because you can have only so many of those players and you need local talent to sort of have a more competitive team, because of the lack of sufficient quality locally, the Turkish teams lose out. I don't think money is such a big challenge in Turkey.
So I'll just read out some of the names who are playing in this, let's say, Istanbul derby.
Yeah.
We've got Edison, Semedo, Skriniar, Alvarez, Edson Alvarez, Marco Asensio, Yusuf El Nasiri, Osimhen, Gundogan, Yilmaz, Sane, Torreira, Mario Lamina, Davinson Sanchez. Like these are top players across the bigger European leagues over the last few years, right? So it's actually
I
very
will not
competitive.
say top players, but these are players who played at the top, let's say.
Fair enough. Yeah, players who
Yeah,
played
like
at the top level.
Lemina and Sanchez, you don't categorize as top players.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Premier League proven.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Cool. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot. There's no Varun. I was waiting. So, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the discussion that we had today. We went into a couple of really interesting tangents also to discuss about laws of the game and to discuss about managerial strategies and stuff like that. And I hope you enjoyed it. And we hope to bring you some more interesting content every week. So keep watching and hit the like button, the subscribe button, and write to us in the comments of stuff you want to hear about, stuff you like, stuff you did not like. So feedback is great. We can do a lot of stuff around that. Thank you, guys.